Okay, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brienne.
And you're listening to
Just Haunted House Things.
All right, Brienne, who are we speaking with today?
Oh, well, we're just speaking with one talented, lovely man named Drew.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he is down in the States, and he's going to correct me because I cannot for the life of me remember where he is from. But he is going to tell us all about him and his life and everything that he's been doing and experiencing down in the United States, while being a fantastic haunter.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to hear how he got into it.
Absolutely.
What keeps him in it and where he's headed. Because it sounds like he's going to be doing some fun stuff.
It sounds like he's got some good characters he's got going on too. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to find out.
I'm excited.
So without further ado, here is Drew. Drew, tell us who you are, where you're from, and all the good tidbits that we should know right off the bat.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm from Toronto, New York. I've lived here for the past 20 plus years, but I was born up near Potsdam, New York, and my first haunted house experience actually happened up there. It was this place called Haig's Farm. Okay, sadly, the guy who owned it has sadly passed away from a car accident a number of years back now. But that was over 10 years ago, or 20, 30 years. 20 years now, almost 30 years ago that I went there, and I very vividly remember that there was scarecrows of all the different monsters that you waited, and I don't remember any of the actual haunt, but I do remember my mom telling me that there was a actual corpse that they dug up in the field because it was an actual farm, and it was one of their ancestors that they just put on display. Yeah. It gets even better. It had hair, and it was buried in the dress. It was still in whatever they buried her in. It was one of their ancestors, and they just put it on display in this little shack.
So fucked up and awesome.
I have so many questions.
I may reconsider wanting to be cremated now. if that's my
90s.
future. Yeah.
90s haunting was a totally different thing. That was that was my main experience with that. But I didn't do any real big do any scary stuff because I was actually a chicken shit. Pardon my French.
We started that way. We all started that way.
I was terrified of haunted houses. I would go on the Haunt World websites and all the different websites, and I'd be terrified of haunted houses. And I didn't go to my very first real haunted house until fourth grade-ish.
Oh, wow.
Where it was this place up in Lake George, New York, called House of Frankenstein.
Okay. Oh.
Which, if you've ever, I'm sure you've been to Niagara Falls or heard of Niagara Falls, Clifton Hill. Yeah. There's on Clifton Hill, they have a Frankenstein. They're actually the same. They were owned by the same people.
Okay.
And it's a wax museum, and it's all this old school gallows, and there's a whole dungeon. And I was still chicken shit, so I was like, I don't want to go in there. My dad was like, we already paid, so we're going. And he picked me up, and we went through, and I didn't shut up about it for months. It was amazing. And I go for the past couple summers. I actually have gone through by myself, and that is spooky. It's very dark, and there's a lot of just sound effects, and it's a great first introduction. If anyone ever is in Lake George, you got to go to House of Frankenstein. It's freaking the bomb.
Okay.
And after that, my first actual haunted house was a farm near my house. They do it. It's called back when I first started, they were called the Harvest Haunt, but now it's called Nightmares.
Okay.
And it was just at the time, it was only two haunted houses, and it was an actual corn maze. It wasn't like how they have some haunted houses have just a trail through the corn. It was an actual corn maze, and they're just like, here you go, have fun.
Good luck.
It's dark. and I cried. I was like, I don't want to be in here.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and we finally found our way through, and it was a great thing. And at the end, I was like, oh my God, that was awesome. And I went to that consecutively 4, 5, 6 years in a row.
Nice.
And up until I was in 7th grade. And then I went to bigger, better haunts. I went to Liberty Ridge or Headless Horseman downstate.
Mm-hmm.
I wore in the hoodie for one of the years. I went
Nice.
there
Very
for
good.
12 plus years, and then I got the acting bug when I was in high school, and I did Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 when I was in 11th grade.
Very good.
Yeah.
I was in the paint crew, and it was great. And I got the acting bug, the theater bug, and then next year we got in trouble for doing Cinderella. My principal was a football guy. He wasn't a arts guy. Didn't read the script or anything, and he stormed out when he heard them say shit. It was it was funny, but we were like, oh, I can't do that. So we did Cinderella, and my sister actually was Cinderella, so it was a proud family moment. And
That's nice.
that I got my degree in theater. I was in theater during COVID, and so that was hard. But I got my degree, and actually, the town where I went to school was where Nightmare on Elm Street was written, according to legend. Wes Craven was the teacher at the next school over. There's a private school, Clarkson University, and he was a teacher there back in the 70s. One of the class assignments was to write a script, and that's how Nightmare was made. And there's a house in town that was a doctor's house back in the 1800s, and it's the house that Freddy's house was based off of.
Okay,
from
cool.
the movie. It's freaking cool. So like that town is very, very proud of their Nightmare.
Yeah. Right.
Their Nightmare connection. I can. Yeah. But yeah, I've always like tried to surround myself with horror. I love walking through graveyards. I love spending too much time in the woods alone in the dark. I no joke. I walk through the woods and listen to creepypastas all the time just to get that like sense of like, oh, someone's watching me.
Right. I love that. For me, that's just comforting. That's just like when people are like, "What do you like to do?" I'm like, I like to walk in the woods alone. And people are like, "You're gonna murder someone." I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe."
Not in the dark. I can't do it in the dark.
Oh, it's like the best in the dark. Oh yeah. I remember we used to live by like one of the many places that we lived together. We used to live by a graveyard.
Yeah, we did.
And I was going through a time there, and I remember it being like 3 a.m. and I took this is how old this is, my iPod, and I went to the cemetery.
We just aged ourselves.
100%. I took my iPod and I went to the graveyard, and I like just walked around the cemetery, and I was like, this is what I needed right now.
Oh my God. You would never catch me. Nope. Sorry. Not going to happen. The purveyor of fear.
Yeah. The queen of fear is like,
hate the dark. Won't go into a cemetery by myself. Will not walk in the forest by myself. But that's on trauma, baby.
Isn't it just?
I will only go through scary things if they are simulated. Okay. That's it.
Troy is home to some of the biggest, oldest graveyards. Yeah. And one of them is in the States. I don't know about Canada, but in the United States, one of the most haunted graveyards is just about an hour away.
Ooh, wow.
I've walked all the way out to it. I do a lot of walking. I've walked all of my city, but I walked all the way out to it, and you can feel it. Like it's just the big old gates. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
But it's because the story was the thing wasn't fully built, and they started putting people in there. But so it's just this big gate, and you can just feel like, don't go in there. like that
energy.
And I was just like, I'm gonna take a picture and just walk away.
Just a selfie.
And this was after I started scaring, so I was just like, this is daunting.
Yeah. How did you get into scaring? Let's get into that. Like, how did you get into that?
I just graduated college. I got my degree. I'd been working this shitty job at this stupid gas station overnight, doing basically nothing with my life, like fun. And there's this haunted house down the street from my house named Feel the Horrors. There's this haunted house, been there for about 10 some odd years. And a lot of people I know from high school worked there, and it was just the place to be if you wanted to scare people.
Right.
Because it's just right there. It's right off of Oakwood Drive in Troy, New York. If people who are not familiar with it, it's actually near one of the biggest graveyards in this area.
Okay.
And it's where Uncle Sam, the actual Uncle Sam's buried.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
like it's a real cool place. And so
Okay, we're
there's
gonna have to do
stuff-
some research.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look into Oakwood Cemetery. It's a phenomenal. It's called a rural cemetery because where it is used to be all country.
Right.
Because it's like the cities in the valley, and that's actually one of the good overlooks is in this graveyard.
Cool.
But anyway, so the place is right down there, so it's kind of spooky going there to begin with, and I fell in love with it really quick, and I was just like, this is awesome. I was just scaring the crap out of someone. Just was like, oh, this is what I needed because I had so much pent up aggression from my stupid day job.
Right.
That I was just like, I could just let it out, and sometimes I wouldn't even be getting a scare. I just feel like just yelling, just to get it out, just like, oh, it's cathartic in a way. It's just
Absolutely
having power. And I was this stupid, like the haunted house I was in, it's called Dr. Morbid's, and same place where House of Frankenstein was. Dr. Morbid's was down the street. It was owned by the same people. And basically the story is there was this crazy rich guy from Lake George, because there was a time when Lake George was all rich people. There's all these mansions, they call them camps. But and this guy, he had a family and he had two daughters. One of them was gorgeous and the other one wasn't very pretty. And the not very pretty one went missing one day, and his wife kept asking questions, and she finally found out and she killed herself. And after that, he went insane and started turning the local homeless population into wax figures. And so when you're going through, it's like 30 some odd years later, and all the people are like the crazy vagabonds that have been living in the manor.
So wait,
it was great, and I was like,
I legit for a second there was like, is this the haunt or the town? For a second, I was like, got me feeling like the wax over here.
The town of Lake George is very, very haunted. It was the site of a major battle back in the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Lake George. The French were there. The French and Indian War took place there. It's very, very haunted. But this thing was just like its own entity. I was even too terrified of it. This was back in my chicken shit phase, so I didn't even get to go into real one. But I was like, I need to get into this one because I was like, now's my chance.
Right.
And I was a lab assistant, so I didn't really have very much to work with. I had like a white jacket that barely fit me, and I had my own top hat and crappy makeup, and I wore goggles. And I was like, this is fun, but I want to do something my own. I want to do something myself because I don't like the idea of wearing someone else's costume.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like that like ew. I don't know if this has been cleaned or not, because it was post-COVID, so it's just like the idea of touching something that wasn't mine kind of grossed me out. So I was
that is absolutely fair. Yeah.
I got my own makeup, made my own mask. My first mask I wore, I actually made it out of a work shirt while I was watching Leatherface, and it was this ripped up thing and it had safety pins and it looked like flesh. It was great. And I wore that. That was my first actual mask, and I had to wear my hair in a certain way or it didn't fit. And this girl that was also in the house put it on, and it was so big on her head. It was like, I have a gigantic dome, and I don't really realize it until stuff like that happens. But and then I made this guy. This is
nice.
I like the zipper mouth.
Yeah. For those that are listening, it's essentially a mask that's like burlap with a zipper mouth and like really big eyes and then buckles on the back.
Leather
really
buckles.
Cool.
Yeah.
I get
some blood on it.
I get people telling me I look like Slipknot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
I get that vibe.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's totally a good vibe.
A good. It looks kind of like Jim Root, like a Jim Root mask. If people are familiar with that, like the guitarist. That wasn't the idea. I just really like the colors of red and black.
Right. Yeah.
They just work very good together.
They do.
But I just started making my own stuff, and I started incorporating different things. Like I have a teddy bear
Mm.
that I spray Foggy Frog scents into.
Yeah.
I use chainsaw exhaust. That's my
Okay,
favorite
yeah.
one, and I kind of just like whack it around. I just re stuffed that doll for Midwestern because I'm going there
Oh, nice.
in June. So I restuffed him with Spanish moss, so it kind of has more of a guts look instead of just
Yeah.
painted fluff. So yeah, the main thing, the pictures I sent you of my character, that's the final outcome right now of
Okay, cool.
where I am. Mr. Tickles, he's my alter ego.
So
He's the Dr. Jekyll in my Hyde.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like how did like what was the thought process of like creating this character? Like what did it stem from and what was your inspiration aside from like Leatherface and maybe a little bit of Slipknot? Maybe not Slipknot. But what was like the how did you get to this end result? Like aside from not wanting to wear the costume that was
Someone else's. Yeah.
but what was your thought process? Walk us through that.
Well, I went to theater school and I really loved fabrication. I took a class. It was a scenic set dressing class, and we learned a lot of how to make bricks and how to do different things with paint to make it look like rocks and stuff like that. Just making something out of nothing. And I like the idea that I didn't want to be an IP. I didn't want to be another Jason Voorhees or another Leatherface or Ghostface. I wanted to be Mr. Tickles. I wanted to be my own thing. I wanted to be this evil monster that it was all the things that scare me, the things that like would intimidate me. That's what it was, his character. Just like he's a clown, and he's also supposed to be kind of more muscly and like someone you wouldn't want to get in a fight with, and he'll like rip your face off, kind of like if you piss him off too much, kind of it's like this carnal feeling. And I just when at the time when I first started playing Tickles, I was kind of just building up all this anger, and I had no outlet of how to release it. And Tickles was my outlet because I put on that mask, no one knows it's me.
Right.
So it's just like I could just scream in your face and like just go at it, and no one would know. I'm just like I could scream at someone I went to high school with, or I could scare someone I went to high school with, and they wouldn't even know it's me. And I did that before. Multiple times.
So like your character, Mr. Tickles, which by the way is like a terrifying name on its own. Is this so you said that you like kind of came up with him or this character because you didn't want to like wear other people's costumes, like so you're like kind of trying to find your own outlet that way. So at your haunt, do you guys have characters? Like, are you allowed to create your own characters and bring them in? Or is it like, do you take the characters they have and adjust them? What's like, I'm just like, I would love to walk into a haunt and be like, this is my character. You can use how you wish. Like, how did that come about?
Well, my haunt, the haunt Field of Horrors, I'm not going to be working there next year. I have another haunt in mind that I would prefer to work at. Actually, I'm thinking of working at the Liberty Ridge Farm one because that one sounds fun because they're just so much prettier. But
in the most grotesque way.
It's just nostalgic way. But at their haunt, they had like the different houses. Like they had a crypt, they had a mummy thing, they had a manor house where everyone's crazy. And each of those houses had like their own kind of feel. And then they had my house, Morbid, which was like lab, steampunky kind of top hat and stuff. But they kind of gave you more like leeway to like if you can make your own costume, go right ahead. And I was like, as long as it's not like racist or
of course,
clearly
psychotic, or I mean not psychotic, not like
not deriving from real world awfulness.
Yeah. Like the one guy that turned out to be a real jerk. He dressed up as Voldemort, but if Voldemort was a Ravenclaw,
Oh, Jesus.
and he had like a lightsaber. It was really he wasn't
That doesn't
very
fit. Anyways,
he
That's a
wasn't
lot
very,
of cross contamination that my brain is not ready to go into.
he wasn't really scary. Like he was very generic. But like when he did that kind of thing, I was like, okay, I'll give you a little bit of props. That's different. But I was more serious when it came to my characters. Like I had like a whole mindset, like a whole like kind of music I had to listen to and
Right.
and stuff that like was a little too extreme. I gotta admit, like it's not like I don't think anyone who's gonna go into a haunted house is gonna do what I do because it's just it's just a mindset where it's just like
what
when
is
some
the
tickles,
mindset?
Yeah, what is it?
What is the mindset?
it's like it's kind of like method acting in a way. Like I like to just pretend like I'm that character. Like
Okay.
I'm the that person I'm playing. I'm not in a in a role. I am that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I like to be like I'm not good with my emotions as a normal human. So like when I get like and I get mad, I get really mad, or like when I get sad, I get really really sad.
Right.
So like it's just like a control kind of thing. Like right now, I could be really funny, or I could be like in your face, terrifying, and it's just like a flip of the coin. Like and that mindset's just like it's cardinal. Like it's like animalistic.
So how do you put yourself in that? Like, so you're going to the haunt for the night, you're kind of setting yourself up for your evening. What is like your ritual like to get yourself hyped up and ready to perform like that?
It's all in the eye makeup. when I'm getting like when I go to the haunt, I generally like to be in costume because I have like body issues, so I don't like to
Got it.
show my chest off too much. So
We understand. We understand.
Fair.
It's embarrassing to say that, but
Oh my gosh.
No. It's not at all.
It
like,
is so everyone has that.
Everyone has that.
I got it.
Yeah, I've got body issues. Yeah, everyone does.
Everyone assumes that they're the only one who's got the issues, but like
Everyone's got something.
everyone's got issues. I got a lot of issues. I got a lot
That's
of issues.
why
Continue.
that's another reason why I scare. It's because it's just I don't give a shit what people think when I'm in the costume. It's just
Right. Yeah.
it's just like I'm the center of attention, and fuck you. Don't look at me wrong.
Right.
But like, where was I getting with this?
You were talking about your method to get into the character.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I could.
No.
I'm so.
It's
like,
all good.
giddy
It's
right
all
now.
good. We got you.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's all in the eye makeup. But I have the costume on, which it's shorts. I'm weird. I don't like pants. I'm making my shorts into zippable pants so they can be zipped off.
Nice.
And then I wear like tights and boots, and I have a undershirt or because it gets cold here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Canada, it gets cold up there too.
Yeah.
But,
Our October sucks so much.
it goes from mosquito. It went from mosquitoes because my last location I was in was like a freaking swamp. It went from mosquitoes and mud to like 30s and 20s, and it was so cold. So I had to start wearing like a compression shirt.
Yeah.
Underneath my thing, so it kind of ruined it. But like, I wore like a big heavy jacket, like a big vest, and I have that all on. But I have no makeup because I want to do that when I get there.
Right.
And I use baseball eye black, so it's a stick, and I just start painting it on. And I like to do like a Viking thing, so I kind of do like a cross, and then I do like big around the eyes. Yeah. And by the time I'm done, I'm kind of just like I'm just thinking of all the like I am Predator, I am God, all this kind of just like stuff to get me like hyped up and keep my ego kind of going. Because I noticed some people when you're scared, you gotta have this ego of like you're the toughest shit in the room. Like you're like no one can fuck with you. Like everyone everyone bow down to you. That's how I kind of try to
Right,
get
yeah.
try to get like my foot in the door of like that kind of feeling, and then I always put,
confidence boost.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then I put stuff in my hair. I put coconut oil in my hair
Nice,
to
very
kind of
good.
get my, because I got this lovely long hair.
It's
I wanna
very
make it-
luscious. I love it.
I want to make it look a little grimier, so I put coconut oil in my hair, and then by the time I'm completely done, or and sometimes I put like up on my neck too. And by the time I get all that done, and I just see myself in the mirror, I'm just like, it's showtime. And I put the mask on, and I go have all my stupid shit, and go into my scene, and I'm like, game time! And I always have my music going because I like to have
Oh,
something
okay.
in my ear.
Yeah.
To make sure I'm just like going, because caffeine can only take you so far. I was like,
That's true.
I always like to say, scaring comes when you're heavily caffeinated. And so I have like I would dabble in pre-workout, and that would really
Yeah.
get you going to creatine, which is like
Yeah,
and,
that's good.
and all that together, I'd just like I'd be so freaking pumped up, and I'm just and that's how I get my adrenaline rush. I can't do roller coasters and rides. I get really nauseous, but so this is how I get my this is how I
your
get my
adrenaline.
kick.
I
it's just like-
understand that very well. I am a no
Yeah.
roller coaster girl too.
I inherited that from my mother. When I was younger, going to those things, we'd be able to go into those, and my mom was like, "Oh, I could never do that," and I never understood until I got older. I was like, "Ah, dang it! I
Yeah.
can't go on any of these rides."
Yeah. No, I'm definitely the I'll hold your purse and bag and everything, and mom will meet you at the end.
Yeah.
But then take me to like a horror movie or a haunted house or a
Yeah.
cemetery at 3:00 in the morning, and I'm game.
And listen, I'm the roller coaster girl.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was when I first started scaring, I was dating a rich girl, and we had the Six Flags thing, so I was bag
Nice.
bitch all the time.
Oh.
It was okay. It was a backpack, so I
that's
didn't
fine.
have to flaunt it too bad.
Yeah.
that's nice.
But she was quite shorter. She was shorter than me, and she came into the house haunt one night. She snuck up behind me to give me a kiss. She wasn't supposed to be there, but she did it
Oh.
anyway. There was no
Classic.
security.
Oh
There was
God.
Jeez, no security.
There was
Shame.
There was security. Like, I knew some cops that would come, like state troopers that would come and like patrol, because there's fights and stuff.
Of
It's
course,
Troy.
yeah.
I should preface, Troy is pretty violent in certain spots. Like, there's gang shootings and violent and stabbings and all that fun stuff. So you gotta have somebody. But like they're not like how Halloween Horror Nights, how there's like an attendant in every room or something. It's just like they come with a flashlight. Who spit on who? What? and then they'll be like, and then they're gone. Like when I got the first and only time I got spit at. Luckily, my zipper was closed that night, so it got me right on the lip.
Okay, but wait, you've only been spit on once? That's
impressive.
I've
like
gotten
a challenge on your own.
I've scared for 3 years. It's gonna be this fall's gonna be my fourth season.
Oh, you still
I've
got
gotten-
time.
You still got time.
I got spit at once, and I got grabbed once.
Yeah.
Classic.
I haven't been groped or anything like that yet, but I have gotten. I wear either big combat boots, or I wear monster shoes with metal tips, like slide shoes.
Right.
It was in 1 year the first year I was a manager. This girl, she came. I was hiding. It was like this crow's nest, and I was laying down. I wasn't supposed to, but I was like, I'm so tired. It's like 1 o'clock, and I have work in the morning. I need to close my eyes, and I just feel someone like grab my foot, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I turn around, and some girl has her phone in my face, and she's like, I scared him. I'm like, and my biggest actor is in there. I was like, get him out of here. Go. And I was like, all out of character. I was like, I don't want to be touched. And so that was the only time I got grabbed. I could have seriously, like, if I wasn't careful, like, if I was just like knee-jerk reaction, I could have hurt her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Steel
that's why you
toe.
don't touch people. You don't touch scare actors.
Just leave them alone.
Don't touch
Yeah.
them. Don't grab them.
Also, people just don't understand that even with the animatronics, you can hurt yourself if you touch it.
Yeah, it's like they're electronic and they don't react like a human does. So,
Yeah.
they'll take your finger off and not give a fuck.
Yeah, that haunted house had a lot of the spring kind of the kind of props that like pop out at you and
Yeah.
have like the X shaped springy thing. So yeah, you could have really got knocked out if you weren't
Yeah.
careful. And then also this one, since it's so freaking old, it had an original Distortions Unlimited bolt, which is
Wow.
it was for people not listening, it looks kind of like a Frankenstein,
Yeah.
but like you could tell it was an OG one because of all the rubber ripping out.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh,
this
the
is real
deterioration of the latex.
dry rot and all that because it just keeps going all night long. And yeah, that haunted house was dry rot city. It was they put those props out there and then they just see ya.
Man, it's hard to keep latex like in a nice way over time. It's just hard to manage that.
I would assume it's got to be like a cool, dry place.
Well, even then, like it can deteriorate.
Silica packs.
that
That will help. Silica packs.
Silica packs.
Lots and lots of silica packs.
Yeah.
The haunted houses, they're built basically like barns, so any breeze would go right through them. Like
Right.
you would the bathrooms, like in the big scene where I'd be, the bathrooms right outside of it. You couldn't smell the bathrooms. You could smell every time my manager would be smoking a cigarette.
Oh God.
And they would also have two big ass bonfire pits outside.
Right.
The place where they did it's the guy. He's really enthusiastic about it. Like I have no beef with him. He's an interesting guy. He has this big paintball place, and they have paintball, Nerf,
That's cool.
airsoft, and actually before COVID they had a hayride. And after COVID, the hayride became a big, like, football field-sized paintball arena
Nice.
with all the different hayride implements as
Right,
where you shoot from. And me and they had a party every year, and me and a bunch of the actors would go out there and look at all the stuff and fool around because we were unattended.
This sounds like the Wild West of
No, like,
haunts.
yeah, I'm like, what? Did you guys have any rules? Did you?
I have a copy of it still somewhere. We had a handbook, but it was very loosely implemented.
Loosey goosey. Yeah.
They had, like, the people that owned it were not in attendance all that often. Like they would come, but like they weren't like there. And then the manager was the manager that was in charge of all of us actors. She couldn't keep enough actors in there because they would have one weekend and be like, fuck this, I'm done. And so we were like,
yeah, it's on point.
New York State, the minimum wage was $15 last time I did this, and that's what they pay you, $15 an hour. They moved it up to $16 an hour the year after I left because no one wants to do it. It's just so rough. It's because there's no running water out there. There's no electricity. If you plug your phone in, you will shut all the power off in the entire freaking place. That's how bad it was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they have everyone, and it's one of the only haunted houses in the area, like in Troy. It's the only haunted house in Troy, so everyone comes to it. It's very, very popular.
Right, yeah.
Holy shit.
They
Are you sure you should be working at this place?
Yeah, I feel like. Well, no, but you said
you're
work somewhere else,
you're working
right?
somewhere else.
You're working
now,
somewhere
right?
else.
I'm working somewhere else.
We love exploring, trying new places.
Maybe some place that has running water and electricity.
Yeah, and
the place I'm
sustained
going to
electricity, not just a generator.
Yeah.
They had a generator, and they had one big one. I think they had another one, but once that thing went off, it was dark. It was just pitch black. It's called a field. It's literally a field.
Yeah.
Field of nightmares.
Yeah, it was. Oh God, I loved it though. My first 2 years there, I scared the shit out of people. My second year, when I was a manager, I was a slider, and because all the inside of the haunted houses are asphalt, so you can
Okay.
really tear it up in there. And when you're a manager at this particular place, you don't. I don't know how they do it at other places, but you don't stop moving. You're just constantly at
Mhm.
every single spot. So I would just figure out how to slide at all the different spots. And the first scene is like a office kind of thing. It's supposed to look
Okay.
like the lobby because the haunted house had a lobby when it was in Lake George, where you'd wait for the tour guide. So they have that as the first scene, and it's one big hallway. So I'll just slide at people. I had like a aluminum pipe. I would scrape across the ground.
Holy. A real
Uh,
aluminum pipe?
Yeah, we call them thwompers because like you're supposed. They had certain spots you could hit it, like on
Oh.
like wooden posts and stuff. I still
Okay,
use that
okay.
phrase, thwomping.
Swamping.
I want to make a dictionary one day. How like
A haunted
Jeff
house.
Foxworthy,
Yeah.
Jeff Foxworthy has his redneck dictionary. I want my haunters dictionary.
Yeah.
It would be bright orange with purple lettering.
I like it. Yeah.
But yeah. So I had the thwomper, and I would just scrape it, and that was my best scares when I could do that. But my knee pads, I still to this day have not fixed them. They were so beat up.
Yeah, that stuff deteriorates pretty fast.
I feel
with
like
asphalt.
I feel like knee pads and like shoes and all that kind of stuff.
Always.
It's like a one season process.
Yeah. Unless
Yeah,
you're buying
Like top
ins-
tier,
But even then, like,
maybe 2 seasons. Depending.
yeah.
Don't think I can find them, but my gloves I used for them, they are like you can see my entire palm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sliding is hard work.
I was like rough. My knees and hips still hurt from that.
Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard on your body. I did it a little bit when I first started not when I first started, but a little bit in 2009.
Ooh.
Back when there was no such thing as like scare zones
Yeah.
or whatever. And because like at our haunt, you like we now have like sanctioned zones, but it's for safety. But before, when it was like the Wild West days, you could like actually like run around the house
and do whatever you wanted.
To a point. And so like a few of us in this one room, back in like the kitchen space, we would like slide from one corner to the other.
I can see it.
And then yeah, so I may have been the reason for the rule of
You took it away from us.
Listen, I may be the reason for a lot of rules at the haunt, but
Damn
it.
Well, you
fine.
also make them now. So
I'm the rule
you
maker.
are the reason for the rules.
Anyway, so I know how hard it is on your body, like wrists, knees, hips, like all of it. It hurts after a while.
Like I practice my screaming voice all the time.
Right.
So I don't like ever blow my throat out because I have blown my voice out my first season.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
I blew my voice out, and I was on the phone with my girlfriend going to work, and I was like, I think I just lost my voice. It was completely gone, and because I was screaming all night long at like full fucking volume, like a dumbass, and I had to go into my overnight job immediately afterwards, and I was just talking, and it just choked out, and I had no voice for a week, and it came back just in time for next weekend.
Yeah. That's the thing with like vocal cords, is that it's not usually like the screaming that'll get you, it's the talking afterwards that will actually blow your voice. Because even if you're a tiny bit rasp, and if you're like trying to overcompensate for the rasp and you're like pushing, that's when you fuck your vocals up.
Yeah.
So pay attention. If you start to feel raspy, shut the fuck up. That's it.
Yeah,
it's a muscle.
It's a muscle.
Work it out.
I learned how to get around not blowing my vocal cords out. I drink a lot of tea when I do it.
Yep.
Mint tea.
Throat
with
coat.
lots of honey.
Yes.
Throat coat. Honey also because it's a natural
Anti-inflammatory.
yes, and cough suppressant.
Yep.
And then and lemon too. Lemon keeps everything nice and clean.
Also, fun fact for any haunters out there that might be getting sick, apple cider vinegar.
Correct.
Throw that in, some hot water, some tea, some honey, and it's not going to taste good. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's gonna suck.
It's like Buckley's, but it works. So, but it's will also just like boost your immune system like crazy.
I haven't gone down the apple cider vinegar route yet.
Give it a shot.
I stick to my traditional theater, like honey and lemon and
Mhm.
all that. I love doing it to the point where I'm just like physically exhausted though. Like when I'm just like when my throat's screaming at me and I'm like at that point where I'm like I need some tea. Just like that's where I'm like this is perfect. This is where I want to be. Because like when I first had my aunt and my mom and all of them first came through, they were waiting in line and they said that they could hear me from outside the haunted house through the walls.
Nice.
And and when they came through, I tried to impress them. And the group in front of my aunt and my mom was this really, really pretty kind of like alternative chick, like not goth, but like she was wearing like leather and fishnets kind of motif with and she was there with her boyfriend and I drop into the slide and I fly right into her and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, you're okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And we're all both very awkward and my mom's just laughing really hard. She's like, and I was like, I tried to be all badass because my scene was 3 different scenes because we were supposed to have 3 different actors in each scene. There's a doll scene, and then there's like a library or like a parlor because it's supposed to be like a manor. So there's like a parlor and then the dining room, and so I took care of all 3 of those rooms, and so I had enough room to slide wherever the hell I wanted. It was great. I had to keep them very waxed because that would get very hot very quick. So you wanted to keep them as waxed as possible.
Well, you're also on asphalt, so like asphalt is more rocky than other surfaces, so it's harder.
Yeah, somewhere like Six Flags, they have that nice concrete. Brushed concrete. Mm-hmm. That's the luxury stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the year after I did all that fun sliding and beating my body up, I worked outdoors, which that was a whole different thing. Yeah, that was when I was in the swamp with the mosquitoes.
Nice.
And that attraction was actually what they did. It was pretty interesting because they took the haunted hayride and they took everything from the haunted hayride and they put it in a walking trail. So they had like a mannequin factory and they had like a Wild West thing and they had like a slaughterhouse. That was my part. But they had a butcher shop, slaughterhouse, swamp graveyard thing, and then the actual slaughterhouse scene. They had like metal and strobe lights, and the guy, he had like this drippy latexy thing that he did like every night, and it was pretty cool. But sadly, no freaking chainsaws. That was the fucked up part. They had so many different opportunities to put a goddamn chainsaw in there, and they didn't do it. Like they had a chainsaw guy, but he would just come out of nowhere. He'd just be like chilling in the haunt, and they'd be like, "Oh, there's I don't even know his name with the chainsaw." Yeah, they just had so many a la carte actors that just come out of nowhere. That it was I don't know how they kept payroll. Like it was just somebody just, where did this guy come from? Who are you? I swear, it's just like they were like, oh, you can write your name on an application. Can you put a mask on too? Try get in there.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. If you could work, not if you could work in any haunt, but if you could do any type of character, 1, what character would it be? And 2, like if you could create your character as well, and like what type of haunted house? Like perfect world for Drew. What's your perfect haunted house and your perfect character you'd want to do?
Yeah.
That's a serious question.
I know. I'm a serious person.
We asked
holy shit. Well, that's a 2-parter because I have my dream haunted house, and then I have like a more realistic haunted house that I would want to do.
Tell me about your dreams.
I would love to do like a full if you ever I don't know if you've ever been to Headless Horseman, but when you go there, it's like you're it's in southern New York, and southern New York is very farmland. The place where it was used to be an orchard back hundreds of years ago. It's very, very old. It's also where a lot of people go to become Catholic priests and stuff. So it's very, it's out there. And when you go into this place, you're not in what the part of the New York is called Ulster Park. You're not in Ulster Park anymore. You're in this town called Crow's Hollow.
Okay.
And if I was able to do my own dream haunted house, I would have my own thing like that, but it would be called Diamond Eye Springs. And I had this whole story going, which I have to write out because it's just so convoluted. But my actual haunted house that I would like be feasible that I would want to do is I would love to do something like Blackout. I know that's controversial, but I love because I was just watching an interview with the guy who did it the other day, and he was just like a big theater nerd like me.
Yeah,
like they started off doing interactive Shakespeare.
Yep.
Like imagine that.
What was the documentary that you watched?
It was like 20 years of Blackout. It's on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I've heard of that one. Okay, so continue. Sorry.
I can never remember their names, but it's the bald guy. There's like the bald guy, and then there's then there's like a bearded dude that does it. It's the bald dude doing it, but he was just such a nerd, theater nerd. I'm like, I would love, and I had this idea of like, I love when I scare. I love being visceral. Like I like just up close and personal. Like you can smell me, you can hear me, you can feel my presence. I like the idea of that, but like in like a initiation, like you're being initiated into like a secret society or like something like that, and like you're going through all these like passages,
right?
And I want to do something like that where it's just like you're in your face. You gotta sign a waiver, like that traditional, like, oh, that you ever heard of this haunted house kind of thing, like how one of my biggest idols in the industry, John LaFlamboy did with is that a good
John's
thing or a
great.
bad thing?
No, it was good. It was good. Yeah.
We like John. I haven't personally met him yet, but yeah, we like John. I'm inspired by John. So
when I first started doing theater back in high school and I started dabbling with this shit, I was watching Days of the Living Dead, and
great series.
Yeah. I watched it religiously, and he just very quickly became like, I need to meet him. I need to meet him one day. And to this day, like getting ready for Midwestern Haunters, and I'm like, he's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm like in his backyard, and it's gonna be cool. I'm like nerding out, making my costume. Like I hope he likes this. But like yeah, I went on a tangent again. Fuck.
That's okay.
Okay, we meander.
Listen, we meander. You're talking with the queens of meandering. You're just excited about talking about haunts. We get it. Like, do not worry at all.
That's what this whole podcast is.
Yeah, but all of this, like when I would be back at this haunted house that I was working at, and I made my tickles originally, I would think about all this kind of stuff of like, I need more. Like, I need more of this. I just don't want to just be like, ooh, spooky, and then go home at the end of the day and not do it. I want more, and that's why I would love to do like something extreme, like something like that, because it would be so unexpected. It would be like nobody of Troy would have known this was coming. They're so comfortable with like the Field of Horrors and how just like it's the same thing. It's been the same thing for 10 plus years. Same 5 freaking haunted houses.
So do they not really change it up that much, or do they like?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Like the last year I went, they got a really beautiful Exorcist prop.
Oh, nice.
They didn't ever turn it on to the full capacity.
Sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand why. It was like one of those things where it's like the whole thing like lifts up, and they didn't have enough room. But they had this big, beautiful Exorcist prop, and we did their whole haunted house to fit the thing. But or like they'll do different lighting. Like they'll put they love those little LED candle things that you get at the dollar store. They love those, and they'll find new ways to incorporate that into the haunted house. But like they don't really add a new haunted house. Like they're very standard.
It's very hard. Like
Oh yeah.
as somebody who's like in like that type of role, having to try and like add a new haunted house is very expensive, but adding in those like little new things is much more feasible, especially like for a smaller haunt. It's like in a community that's like big, but there's only so much revenue that you can generate from that community, and so then it's kind of hard to put that reinvestment back into the haunt when you only have limited amount of funds, and especially if you have to keep payroll. And so it's like this whole overarching thing, not to get like nerdy about finances here, but
oh no, this is interesting.
She loves getting nerdy about
so like
finances.
A general haunted house at this point in time could cost anywhere between $600,000 to $800,000, and that's like US. So in Canada it could be roughly the same depending on where you're getting your materials from, where you're getting your animatronics from. So it can be hard for these haunts to produce something that's new, but they can always add things into the spaces that they already have. So it may be disappointing to like not always have like a brand new haunted house, because we see things like Six Flags, Not Scary Farm, Universal constantly changing their repertoire, but they've got the funds. They've got like millions and millions of dollars. Whereas like these other haunts, these pro haunts, even though they're pro haunts, don't have the same kind of cash flow and overhead in order to make that happen. So it can be disappointing when you're like, it's still the same. But
sometimes I love that, where it's like, I love going to like Universal and stuff like that, where it's like every year is going to be maybe something different, and they're just changing the entire characters and all the houses. But there's something like really sweet and like I find really comforting about going to a haunted house that you go to all the time. And it's familiar. But then it's like, then you're noticing those like one or two really small changes that they change.
And even in the characterization, like that can be like a huge change for guests as well. Like,
absolutely. It gives you a different experience every time you go in, while it's still maintaining what it is at its core
of it,
which
is really kind of interesting. But haunts are expensive. And especially like to create a new one is expensive. And I just like the 600 to 800,000, that's on the low end. That's like pretty small. And who knows how expensive it would be like right now in this moment. Like that, I'm roughly giving you a ballpark of that, like from a year and a half ago. Let's not get into
We're not getting
it. But so like it's hard for these pro haunts, even if they are like considered a bigger haunt, to like bring in that revenue in order to be able to like reinvest it back into the haunt. So sometimes you'll see like, I mean, Hell's Gate is a prime example of this. I don't know what their overhead is, but they'll usually do like a revamp of like a room or two, maybe more, maybe like 20% of their haunt.
I saw somewhere that they do like most of the haunt over after a certain amount of years. Because I've seen that like in the Days of the Living Dead, they like rip that sucker apart. They gut it and then they rebuild it.
I don't know if it's the whole thing. It looks like it's just partial, and then they'll like improve on a scene that they've already done, and then just kind of revamp the like flow of that room, just based on what I've seen. But I don't know, because I haven't actually been inside of Hell's Gate.
Me neither.
But I would love to. I mean, it's a great looking haunt, and I mean that whole crew is very talented. So
I'm game.
Especially Sharky. You ever heard of Sharky? You ever seen Sharky TikTok?
Yeah.
I want to meet her too. She seems really cool.
Well, she might be at Midwest. I would guarantee it. So.
Well, Pickles is gonna meet a lot of crazy people.
I mean, like they were at Transworld, so I would assume that they would probably be at Midwest, unless they didn't. There's something else going on, but I would assume.
I don't think there'd be a lot going on haunt wise in the middle of June. Yeah, you're right. I went last year. I went with one of my dear friends from work. We went to this place, Double M, which is they do rodeos and stuff, but they're also very famous for their haunted house.
Cool.
And they did a thing. It was halfway to Halloween, and they did the 2018 Halloween movie on a big screen.
That's sick.
Then they had 2 of their haunted houses open, and also a bunch of actors just everywhere. And I knew one of the actors, and I was trying to be all nonchalant wearing some of their merch. And they texted me on Facebook later. They're like, "Hey man, I saw you were at the attraction. Thanks for support." I'm like,
cool.
I didn't even think you'd recognize me.
You always be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
The world is small in the haunt world. It's very small.
Oh yeah, no, it's I went into when I went to go to school for theater, I had the intentions of either working for Disney, which
Mhm.
that
Mm,
didn't happen or hasn't happened yet. I don't know.
So far.
so far.
But or I wanted to work on Broadway
Yeah.
and
Nice.
working in the city. I've been to Broadway numerous times, but and being in that city, this it seems scary. Like
It's a big
it's
city.
just it's
It's a
so
crazy city. Yeah.
it's I've been there so many times and I was just like I can't understand how people can live here.
Yeah. That's very
It's
fair. It's
it's
loud, it's chaotic.
They
It's-
hustle it. That's what they do.
yeah,
Hustlers.
hustles. Big
Yeah.
it's
hustles.
beautiful though. It's an amazing thing. It's always growing. So I always
Mhm.
love going back. I just horror wise, I saw Sweeney Todd on Broadway.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. That would be a good
However,
one.
Josh Groban was sick that night, but I did
Oh.
the kid from Sweeney or Stranger Things who played
Mhm.
the one without the teeth.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Gavin. Or yeah,
Dustin.
he played
I met
Dustin. Yeah,
him.
yeah.
I met
Dustin, yeah.
Dustin.
Gavin.
He was
Gavin
shorter than
something,
I pictured him being. I'm 5'11", 5'10", 5'11", and he was about my mom's height, so like 5'3". And I was like, wow, you're tiny. But I was like, good job, man. And I was like, I got this compliment of celebrity. And it was so cool. Seeing live horror
Yeah.
on the stage
Heck
because it's
yeah.
like all the different it's not the same as going to haunted house, but it's like all the sound effects and the fog and the different things and I had to like bite my tongue like not try to ask like I wonder what company supplies their fog or something like that. Because like that's the kind of stuff I think about when I go to haunts,
Right.
especially my all time favorite Headless Horseman. I wear so one of the smells I got is Gothic, and Gothic smells like patchouli oil.
Yeah.
Uh, it's very potent. It's super duper strong. My mom hates it. And I was walking through one of their houses, and the story is that like when the horseman died, whoever had the horseman's skull, it's kind of like the Tim Burton movie. Whoever has the horseman's skull controls the horseman. And there were these monks in the storyline of Headless Horseman that they had control of the horseman's skull and they hid it in this tomb. And so you walk into a tomb. It's actually they dug it out so they go underground, and it's always very foggy in there. And there was one actress, very short girl dressed as a nun, and she would just scream. Cool. That was her whole shtick. It was the best. But they pumped in the smell of that Gothic smell. Like, hey, I smell like that too.
I like that.
It was great, and I love that attraction. I highly recommend everyone who has ever considered going to a haunted house to go to Headless Horseman. If you don't get scared, that's on you.
You're clearly too damaged.
I mean, I'm getting there, but like that's just because I'm in the scene, man. I can see it coming.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know
at a certain point you become pretty desensitized.
Yeah, and it's
all
more
of it.
like you're waiting for the cues to see if you're correct. Like,
Yeah.
okay, was that a sensor I just walked by? Did I just see someone like checking me out from two rooms down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
was a new game.
I have to be told to shut up sometimes when we go to those places because they're like, oh, that's my favorite's Pale Knight Productions props. I love when I can point one of those out there. They what they do is they get like a TV screen and then they'll build something around it. So like one of them, Asylum Door, it's like too big.
I'm familiar with that one. Yeah,
you're familiar, and it's just and I have one of those. And the first time I got to see it in person, it's just like, oh, Asylum Door.
They're pretty great. Yeah.
And my friends that I bring, they'll never know what I'm talking about, and so just ruin it for them. But for me, I'll be like, I'm seeing everything I haven't seen in person yet.
This is my wonderland. Let me live my best life.
And
funny.
that also Headless Horseman. That also going back to that question about how I'm like how I do all this. They're one of my big inspirations because like what my character is kind of based off of their aesthetic.
Oh, okay.
They have like a clown thing at one point, and it's a freak show. And usually the past couple of times I've been, they don't ever put an actor in there. But it's just this old school clown kind of. There's a really gritty, grungy kind of feeling to all their kind of scaring. But the clowns, it's just like they're like the cigarette scented clowns. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And so that's how I base my character. It's just kind of like off of that, and their two main character colors are red and black. So I paid homage to that. And also, on top of all this lovely horror haunt stuff, I'm a huge Ice Nine Kills fan.
Oh, okay.
And I got to see them live last summer, and I was just squealing. I was like, Spencer Chernus is right there.
Okay.
And
I have another question for you.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what is your future plans? Like where do you want to go within this industry? Because clearly you love it very much.
Lots of passion.
Yeah, lots of passion. So like what is your dream? Like speak your dream into existence. This is your time.
well, the Extreme Haunted House thing, that's something I'd love to do. I'd love to do that for like charity.
Okay.
I love the idea. There's another haunted house in town, Rosario's Fright for Charity or something. I think that's what it's called. And they've been doing it for 25 plus years. I want to do something like that. I don't want to like go like up against them or anything, but I want to do something like that. I also would love to work at one of the big time haunts. Like I would love to work at like Hell's Church or Hell's Church. That's me. Hell's Gates.
Yeah.
Hell's Gate. Or Halloween Horror Night. Something huge. Something I can like tell my grandkids about one day. Be like, I was there.
Yeah.
I'm very family oriented like that. I want to live long enough to have like grandkids or great grandkids and just be like, look at what I did when I was young.
Yeah. Look at the fun I had.
Look at all the fun I had.
I could ramble on about this for hours, but I want to have I don't want to just be like another actor. I want to be the next. This is horrible to say because he's just such an idol of mine. But I want to be like the next John LaFlamboy or like the next Char Mayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Char. We love Char.
We love Char.
I quote her all the time because I heard her say fear kind of smells like urine. So I always quote her.
Facts.
Fear kind of smells like urine. Because I get a lot of people asking me how I do this, how I do this, and it's such a hard thing to just sum up. Like even just like I keep rambling because it's just like so much I want to say about this. Like, sorry about that, by the way.
No, you're
Oh my gosh,
fine.
no,
you're
you're
fine.
But it's just like I want to also like I've heard this said there's no rule book to scaring. There's no textbook. There's no class. You can't go to a school and be like, oh, I want to be a scared person.
Just you.
I want to do that. I want to talk some people into letting me teach them how to scare. I want to like teach them how to make their own costumes. And I want to do it very guerrilla, like Hunter S. Thompson kind of nutso gonzo kind of like do what I do, and I want to show you how to do it and have.
So you want to kind of become
like
a voice within the industry. You want to like
kind of like a mentor, teacher, creator.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm so inspired by all these big names and just I want to do what they do so bad. Like I want more. Every time I do this, it's just like I want more. Like this feeling of more that that will never go away. It's just every time like I even put this mask on and it's just like there's always that feeling of like, oh, I could add this to it and make it more scary. I just want to keep constantly evolving, and I constantly just want that sense of just like of feeling like something of bigger than myself, or like, and a lot of it was also a feeling of belonging. I came from a place of I had friends, but I didn't really like do a lot of stuff with them, and I'm a very big introvert, so like this is my outlet, and I want I want to bring a lot more people to this scene because it's just like it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's almost sexy in a way, just like being able to have the passion to scare. It's just it's unlike any other art. It's so niche, and I just want more people to experience it and just and not tamper it. Like I don't want it to be like drawn out like how everyone can play rock and roll. I want it to be like the Marines. I want it to be like there's certain people out there that are like that I can teach to do this to, that I want to be able to like.
Oh, you've cut out.
Your audio cut out. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're back.
It was like in like college flashbacks. College during COVID was mainly on Zoom. It sucked ass.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
But I just want to leave a legacy in this universe, in this beautiful community that found me. Like I went to the haunted houses, but it was something
called to you.
Yeah.
Called to me. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're on your way to making your mark.
Just at the beginning, just getting started.
And that's okay. Like you're just getting started. But we're old dogs now.
Oh yeah. Been in the fight for a while.
It takes some time. It
does.
You just kind of have to start putting yourself out there. And one of those ways that you're doing that is going to Midwest Haunters Convention, which will be a great time, and I'm excited to hear how that goes for you. We're gonna have to start wrapping up. As much as we love to talk and get to know you more, but we have some other stuff we got to get to.
Did I talk too much?
No, not at all. This is wonderful.
We're on like a couple schedules, so we just got to make sure that we give everyone the shot.
We're going to be recording another episode directly
too.
after this. So.
Well, I hope the next person has fun with this, because this was a blast.
Yeah.
I wish more people would let me talk about haunting, because acting, because it's a force to be reckoned with, and not a lot of people understand it.
It's true.
Well,
that's essentially why we started this podcast and why I started this channel in general, is because like there is no real outlet for people to talk about it outside of like
being in the
haunt. And so it's one of those things. And most other podcasts, no shame to them, I love all of the other horror and haunt podcasts out there, but they're very niche to like specific haunted houses or specific things. And so like there's nothing that's really catering to like the scare actor. And so this was kind of like our
way of doing.
So we wanted to talk to haunters, to like people who are on the front lines, and not just owners and operators, but like everybody who works in a haunt, because we all bring something different to the table.
Absolutely. And every part is important. And also it's like you mentioned earlier, it's that community, right? That we talk about frequently on this podcast. And this is just another way of like reaching out to other people in the community. It's like we want to bring new people in, maybe inspire people to try something they've never done before, or like just to learn about it.
Yeah. And we have listeners who do not work in haunts and they love listening to this. So it's been a pleasure to have you on this so that we can share your story with people who either work in the haunt or don't work in the haunt.
Yeah. So
I think everyone should work in a haunt at least once, especially if you work in customer service.
Oh yeah, no, I also have that feeling too. You should work in a haunt, and you should work in like a restaurant or something,
some
customer
type of
service to get through this world, so you can understand compassion and empathy.
Yeah, empathy, huge.
But where can our listeners, if they want to look you up, where can they find you?
I'm kind of bare bones when it comes to social media because of personal stuff.
Of course.
From the haunt, I got cyberbullied a lot. It was a lot of bullshit. But I do have a Tumblr. You can look me up at Hell Church Productions on Tumblr.
Cool.
I'm also going to probably have a TikTok, and I don't want to use Twitter because of Musk, but TikTok and Lemonade and all that fun stuff. But right now, I'm just a Tumblr page.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll have to link that into the description when we put this out.
I'll have I'm making business cards soon, so I will have a link tree that I can send you.
Cool.
But yeah, other than that, just a Tumblr page. My sister just got home. Excuse the loud noises.
No worries. Okay, well,
But,
they can find us at
Just Haunted House Things on Instagram.
Yep. And you can also find us if you wanted to buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/JHHT.
Just Haunted House Things.
Yeah, if you Google just Haunted House Things, you should find us
You'll
in all the
find us.
places that you want to reach us or follow us along, yada, 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 subscribe, etc.
Exactly. Come and hang out with us on the podcast, on our Instagram, Facebook. Also, come see us at our own personal pages because we're pretty cool people too. But we're not going to tell you those. You have to go and search for
You got to
yourself.
go find them.
Yeah, make you work a little bit. All right.
All right.
Well, that was really fun. That was a lot of fun.
That
I really
was.
enjoyed that. I want to. There's a couple haunts that
I
you
guess we
mentioned
gotta
that
go
I'm
to Troy.
definitely going to go check out. I wrote down in my notes.
Definitely Headless Horseman.
Yep.
There's a YouTuber called Grim Life Collective. They did an amazing video. They're one of the only people that got to do like professional video of it.
Mhm.
Definitely look them up. They're sick.
We will.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta look those haunts up. They're amazing.
Okay, yeah.
We'll do that.
All right. So, well, thank you guys, everyone, for stopping by and listening and hanging out with us and Drew.
And I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brienne.
And you're listening to
Just Haunted House Things.